two friends, two time zones, and a shared love of stories.
I'm Freya.
And I'm Jamie.
Bridging time zones one chapter at a time.
Welcome to Once Upon a Time Zone. Hi everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Time Zone. We have a fun episode today. We're going to talk about books that were pretty much perfect, that we were really loving, right up until the very end. Now, some of these books on this list, I think we still both rated quite high. Some of them did ruin the entire book, but I feel like it's just such an interesting thing sometimes when you are like fully on the ride with a book. You're just reading along and you're eating it up, and then something just happens at the very end or in the second half that just changes your full opinion on it. So yeah, those are the books that we are going to talk about in today's episode. But before we get into all of that, we actually do have quite a few catch-ups. So let's just start off with current reads. What are you reading?
Hang on a second. I blanked at the name. I'm reading the same book I have, The River Unveiled. What is it called again?
Oh, it's not The River Has Roots. It's The River She Became.
Yes,
right?
The River She Became. I knew it was like a slightly unique kind of way of wording the title, if that makes sense. Okay, yes, by Emily Varga. So yes. I am still reading that one. I'm actually kind of almost finishing it, and I don't know what to go on to next. But it is a fantasy. I believe it's a YA fantasy. It's giving that at the moment.
I think
it has the whole time at least. And it is so good. We are basically set in this world it's a very rich in culture, and I want to say religion, but it's more like just religious influences on it, which makes a really interesting magic system. And we have a multiple POV. We are following two protagonists. One of them is an undercover king almost, or like a prince, I think. We're not entirely sure. That's not a spoiler. You know that very early on. But he is basically trying to restore order and faith back into the kingdom. And then we are also following, I'm so blanking, guys. It's very early this morning. And I'm trying to remember our protagonist, Yasmina, I think. We are following Yasmina, and basically in this world there is this river that divides the Fae from the humans, but Yasmina is somewhere blurry along that line because she is a human that has magic powers. So, and she's a bit of a soft girl, she's a scholar, she uses these powers to kind of unveil a bunch of secrets that the kingdom have tried to keep hidden from her, and we go from there and the worlds intersect. It's so much fun. It's so different to any other fantasy romance. Well, would we say fantasy romance? I'd say YA fantasy with a drizzle.
Sprinkle.
Really good balance, honestly. But it's so different from anything I've read in such a long time. If you Ember in the Ashes, I said this to Jamie, if you like Ember in the Ashes or The City of Brass, I feel like you will love it. It's the same kind of rich world that you're set in that doesn't feel like anything you've read before, and the magic system is really unique. You have new mythical creatures involved. I'm loving it. I'm having such a good time. The only downside to it is that I've been out of the house, and I always bring my book when I go out of the house, obviously. But this is a fairy loot edition. I don't want to bring it anywhere. I'm too scared.
Yeah, so fair, honestly. So relatable.
So it's taking me a little bit longer. So I was yesterday, I was do I start another book at the same time? And that can be my Kindle or out of the house book, but we'll try and finish it and then move on. I'm not very good at reading multiple books at once.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track. Wait, so the magic system, it's magical artifacts, right? I think.
Yeah, so that's part of it. And then there's also, from what I can gather, magical creatures play a big role, or you can kind of connect to creatures that give you powers and insight. Yeah.
Oh,
so
love
it's
that.
very our main protagonist, Yasmina, as I said, she's a scholarly kind of girl. So she's very into history, and that's what she uses her magic for. So it's kind of nice to have a protagonist who doesn't use her magic just to fight or something like that. Obviously we love that as well. We love female rage, but it's just nice to have her she's always kind of just kept it hidden, and it's just been kind of her thing that helps her find out more about these mysteries. And she kind of defies the kingdom in her own way, because she's not about to just go out there and
fight someone.
Cause havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That sounds fun.
I think
I
you'll
need to get
like
into
it.
that one.
I think, yeah, one to add to the TBR.
Yeah. Also, you guys, it is very early for Freya right now. You can probably see that the sun is not up for her yet. We're just filming the next few episodes super, super early for her for fun because, I mean, do you want to tell everyone?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in my channel, but I'm doing my becoming a Pilates instructor. Yay!
Yay!
And so it's like a 2-week intensive course and it starts in the mornings. But I was like, you know what, instead of like I just thought it was better than putting us through the whole pre-filming thing again. I was like, I'd rather wake up a bit
True.
earlier and like we can keep the updates real, everything like that. So for the next 2 episodes, if it looks nice and dark like this and my brain's still switching on, you guys
That's
are my first chat of the
why.
day. So
That's why. And the wild thing is, you guys, we've always said Freya is like the most impressive person because she has an entire day before the sun comes up. And now she's doing even more. Okay. Now we're recording podcasts an hour earlier. So, like, what time are you waking up these days?
I woke up at like 5:45 this morning because I have to kind of like get everything ready for the day. So like after this, I can just like upload this and then go.
Run. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. Thank God I'm a morning person is all I can say. I don't,
Literally.
we all know, you don't want to see me after like 4 o'clock. I'm just
That's the time. That's the time you shut
yeah.
off.
It's like, yeah, I'm gone. Bye.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
What are you currently reading?
I'm actually reading a mystery thriller. Ooh, something different.
Ooh.
So it's also a very hard title to remember. So I think that's just the theme of this week. But it's called This Story Might Save Your Life by Tiffany Crum. It's
I
been
remember you
circulating.
talking about this one.
Yeah. It's been circulating, and I'm almost done my monthly TBR. I just have the Stephen King book, 11/22/63, left, which is the chunker, and I'm just waiting for a little bit closer to book club date to read that one. So I'm like, what can I pick up? I kind of have a free pick now. So mystery thriller. It's been a little while since I've read something like this, but it's a fun concept because it's about two podcast co-hosts, which that's kind of like us,
Yeah.
which is fun. But their theme for their podcast is it's called The Story Might Save Your Life, and they talk about these weird near-death experiences and how you might survive them. So one of them, for example, is like if you got swallowed by a whale, what would you do to survive that? It's kind of like wild things that could happen to you and like what you would do. So that's their kind of theme for their podcast. But at the very beginning of the book, one of them goes missing, and then the other person has to figure out what happened. And we kind of like jump back and forth and figure out like maybe some suspicious things that happened in the past. And then, yeah, we get involved into all these investigations. So it's a really fun concept.
That sounds like it's a good genre break for you.
Yeah, it's refreshing. I have been honestly, I've been reading a lot of books about death this month.
Being the theme.
It's literally the theme because I read Everything Was Beautiful and Nothing Hurt, and that's like, main character is literally death. I read Martyr, which is also a book that like our main character is just really fascinated with death and what it is to be a martyr and finding the meaning in death. And then I also just read The Midnight Train by Haig, which is like when you die, you reflect on your life. So I was
True.
why am I reading all of these books about death? Like I don't know. I don't know what's going up with me. But I was
really
like, let's switch it up instead of reading a really super reflective book that, let's just read a thriller and have fun.
Yeah. Your brain probably needed that. Like,
Yeah, I was literally, when I picked this up, I was like, rom-com or thriller? Which one should I go to?
No, I think that's good because like rom-coms haven't really been hitting recently for you, have they? So
Not entirely. I think I actually have a recent read rom-com on the list of books that we're going to talk about today. But yeah, we'll get to that when we get there.
yeah,
but
we'll get to that.
Next catch-up that we have. Okay, the long-awaited Odyssey debrief. Because you guys, I finally watched the Odyssey. I'm only like a month late. It's okay.
You know what? Not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too bad. I wanted to wait for the theater to not be completely packed. And you know what?
Yeah.
There was no one sitting beside me. So I had so much space to like, I mean, I don't know how much I'm moving around in a movie theater, but like, I could breathe and there was like no one
Yep.
breathing
You
down my
don't have
neck
to
beside
be
me.
like
Yeah.
conscious of like spilling your popcorn, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Or I always get so uncomfortable when, like when you're putting your drink in the armrest and then your armrest is the one shared with the stranger, like not shared with the one you know. And it's like, I feel weird putting my drink, like it feels like my drink is touching you. It's kind of weird.
So true.
Like, it's okay. I'm glad you feel that way too. Cause I'm like, am I just being a princess?
No. It's very close quarters. Yeah.
It is very close quarters. Okay, but the Odyssey, honestly, okay. First of all, I liked the movie. I do have to treat it kind of as its own thing, like kind of apart from Greek mythology. But that being said, kind of all the events that happened, I've never read the Odyssey front to back. But I was surprised at how much I knew about the story. Like everything that happened, I was like, oh, I know this. I knew that this happened. I think it's just pieces of literature and books that I've read throughout my entire life have overall given me like the full picture of Odysseus and his journey and what happens. And I know the movie is so different from like the original myth, but yeah, like kind of the main events that happen. I was like, I know this, I know this, I know that. And then I knew like all of Telemachus is his journey of like trying to find out more about his dad and like find him and stuff because that was the biggest surprise. I recently read Nymph last month by Sofia Montrone and it was like a coming of age sapphic story set in the Italian countryside. But there was like a whole element to that book of the father telling her stories about like Odysseus and Telemachus and everything and him like seeking Menelaus for like answers and stuff. So it was just funny that I was like, oh, I just read a literary fiction that randomly gave me a full synopsis of everything that happens.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So just stuff like that. And then reading things like Circe by Madeline Miller obviously gave me like a closer look at kind of parts of Odysseus's journey, which I think like that was the part that stood out to me the most of being different because, okay, my main kind of like gripe with the movie, although I loved it, like it was a great movie, probably one of the best movies of the year, if you look at it itself, was that Odysseus really felt different as to like how he feels in mythology. I feel like he's, I think, usually portrayed as a little bit more of like a trickster character, kind of selfish and like really kind of self-serving. But in the movie, they portrayed him as more of a tragic hero that just, he made mistakes, but he felt guilty about them, had all of his morals, like and everything, cared about his crew so much, but it was so different. Like he's not loyal to Penelope, you guys, in mythology. But I feel like they didn't show any of those moments.
I'm glad that was not included in the movie, to be honest. That always, see, I just like, in the books, I just remember, like, again, I actually haven't read it like front to back. We just like tackled
Little
chunks
bits.
at a time in in class. And I just remember like hating him as a character. I was like, I hate you. Like you were so annoying. So when I kind of walked out of the cinema and I was like, you were very different, but I also didn't hate you. So I'm gonna count that as a pro.
Yeah, like they made changes, but it was probably for the better as a standalone movie. Like fitting into all of Greek mythology, they probably could have made him more similar to mythology, but as a standalone story, it was probably, just a lot more enjoyable watching it if you like Odysseus. So they definitely, changed some things to highlight his good characteristics and just erased all of his bad characteristics.
Yep.
So, that was like the biggest difference that I noticed. But I'm not like a an Odyssey expert by any means. Those were just, yeah, things that I picked up on. But yeah, the movie itself was really good. I really liked the production of everything. It looked great. I actually loved how it felt like a play almost. Like the way they were talking.
Yeah.
I like how they made the dialogue a little bit not natural. Like they made the
Yeah.
dialogue feel like mythology. And I think that added just like a great feeling to the whole movie. I feel like if they were speaking like normal people, they wouldn't seem like Greek heroes. So
No,
I liked that.
definitely. And I think we see that like almost ruin a lot of things as well. Even in books, you'll hear like a modern phrase or something, or like, you know, we always talk about social media or something, and that really just throws you out of it. And so
Yeah.
I feel like if they were talking like this, and they were just talking like any other screenplay, it would have really taken you out of it and been like,
Yeah. So yeah, I liked that. I liked how it was kind of like just a little bit over exaggerated and it felt like a stage play. I liked that
yeah,
feeling. I will say though, it took me a little bit to get into the movie initially because like the opening scene, it was like, oh, there's Travis Scott. Like the very first shot was Travis Scott. I was like, what are you doing here? And then it just flashed to show faces of every single big name that's in the movie. And that's like a lot of faces. It was like, okay, there's Travis Scott, there's Robert Pattinson, there's Tom Holland, there's Anne Hathaway, there's Matt Damon, there's Zendaya, there's who else? Charlize Theron, there's Elliot Page. Like
yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
everyone.
The
Everyone's
list
in this
goes on.
movie. The list goes on. And I feel like it was just, I don't know why, it just showed every character before we got going. Like it was like a close-up, short little shot on everyone just to be like, yeah, that person's here, that person's here, that, and I was like, okay, yeah, okay.
In a way, though, that kind of reminded me of a play as well. You know how, like, when there's a
That's
narrator,
true.
especially I'm thinking like Shakespeare, and like the character just comes out and stands on the stage, and as they're like describing the character, and then they walk away. Like, it kind of gave that as well.
That, no, honestly, so true. So does that make Travis Scott Shakespeare?
Well,
If
no,
we're
that's a
going that
modern take
route.
on things.
Yeah. That's, yeah. So yeah, it took me a while to kind of like erase those actors out of my
Yeah.
mind, I guess, and just to try and see the characters as the characters and not as the actors. But I do think in the end, most of them did a pretty good job. Most of them.
Do you know who I was so impressed with?
Robert Pattinson. Yeah. Yes.
I was like, I hate you.
I
And
know.
I never have said that about
I know. I'm like, Edward. Cedric.
Where are you, Batman?
Yeah. No, literally. I think he's such a talented actor. And because I know after he had his kind of big roles, he did a lot of indie, smaller, artsy films. I think I watched a movie with him a long time ago called The Lighthouse or something. And it was really indie. But he was so good in that too. And he's one of the only actors that I feel like have successfully broken out of a really kind of like you're stuck in this role kind of character. Like he's not just Edward Cullen anymore. He has been able to like, yeah, build a pretty good career for himself doing serious acting, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was so impressed. I was like, wow, I really hated him. He did a really good job at being hated. And yeah, I was talking to Greg about it in the car on the way home. I was like, so who do you think did the best job? And that was my answer, was Robert Pattinson. So we both agree.
Yeah. What was his answer? I'm curious.
His favorite? Oh my goodness, what was his favorite? I don't think he told me a favorite. He told me a least favorite.
Oh,
And we had the same least favorite.
okay.
I can tell. It
Okay,
was Elliot
yeah.
Page for me. I feel like some of the lines just felt a little bit like stilted. I don't know. It didn't fit in with the rest of the. I think the scene on Hades was good, but I think
Yeah.
the parts leading up to that, I don't know, just felt a little awkward for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh my gosh. Also, can I just say the one scene that like I could not look at was when he was the dog.
Oh.
I just started bawling right there. And anything to do with animals in movies, and I will just start like when Robert Pattinson was like kicking the dog, like this is again in the beginning, I was like, you was like,
I
don't you
know.
do that.
Any of the cruelty to animals. So that's a trigger warning for anyone who hasn't
Yeah.
seen it yet. There is a dog that,
There's actually a bit
received
of
some abuse.
animal. I think that's what made me the most uncomfortable during it. Like there was multiple times I have to like actually like look away when things like that happen because I can't.
Yeah.
I know it's like not real. No
I know.
animals were harmed in the making. Thank
Hopefully.
God. But it's just hard to watch. They're just so innocent.
It is hard to watch. It is hard to watch. I feel like the scene, the whole part with Circe, I feel like was so disturbing. It was very horror, which
You know that was like not. I don't know how they did it, but it wasn't like CGI or anything. It wasn't special effects or something. I saw an interview of them and it was like it was something to do with like masks and stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but I literally saw that like 2 days ago.
Oh my gosh.
And I was meaning to text you once you'd watched it. But I'm sure they had to involve some, obviously.
Yeah.
But they just tried to do as absolutely little as possible. So a lot of that was like physical work. And like, that's why that actress's mind is again, that actress's name is going from my mind.
Yep.
But she's just getting praised on her performance, which was incredible anyway.
So good.
But
yeah. Haunting.
yeah, I think a lot of that
Creepy.
scene was like really, really, really hard to film, obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That was so disturbing as well, though. That was like
No,
that
yeah, I
whole
was
scene.
like,
I don't think
I'm
I could watch that again.
so disturbed. No, surprisingly, Greg wants to watch the movie again, and he never wants to rewatch movies, especially 3-hour-long movies, because it's a long time to like sit down.
Yeah,
But he's like, I kind of want to watch it again. I'm like,
yeah,
okay. All right. Shall we try a different format?
yeah. Should we do the tour? Really?
do the full tour.
That's what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I will say also, speaking of the length of the movie, it didn't feel long. I think you mentioned that too when you watched it.
Yeah.
But it just kept moving. Like there were no moments that dragged on. It just felt so perfectly paced that by the end of it, I was like, oh, you know what? It didn't feel long. It felt like 2 hours, not like 3.
Yeah, it definitely did feel like, a short movie, but
Yeah,
but it
it's a
didn't feel
journey.
like Tenet, I love it, but I can't really rewatch that movie because it is a really, really, really long, like it feels like a long movie to me. And I know some people, that's not, but yeah, I can't do that one again. I can do it the first time, it's like the adrenaline and everything, but yeah, it's a fine line finding that for a long movie, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And this one did a great job. So,
Yeah.
overall, great. I loved it. Was it?
Would recommend.
Yeah, would recommend. Was it completely accurate to the myth? No. But I thought it was a great story nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got like a few little ones we can like little points we can jump over before we jump in. I know we've been rambling for such a long time.
It happens.
But to be honest, Jamie was like, I watched the Odyssey. I'm not saying anything until the podcast. So that was an anticipated wait for me.
Yeah. I told you like 3 days ago, 2 days ago, but I was like, I'm not telling you anything. Because
I didn't even know if she like loved it or if she hated it. Like I didn't know what was going on there. So that was, you probably saw my face being like
nervous.
I did want to say, okay, random thing, but I needed to say this to like see if it was justified. The other day, it was on our Patreon, actually, we were talking about fruit fly, which is, we mentioned it 2 weeks ago, I think, on our new releases, taking over the internet at the moment. It's the new yesteryear kind of vibe. And it's basically gone out of stock. Like, I just don't think they anticipated it to be this big a book. And it's out of stock everywhere. It's out of stock for Jamie everywhere, out of stock for me everywhere. I was like, you know what? Just how I was talking before, I didn't want to bring my fairy loot book everywhere. I was like, you know what? This would be a good second book to be reading. And I can read it on my Kindle. It is $19.99 on Kindle. I didn't know how to react to that. I was like, I can't. That's like almost as expensive as the paperback.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
It's wild that ebooks are so expensive these days because it's just a digital file. What do you, and sometimes I've found that the physical copy is cheaper than the ebook.
Yeah.
Because there
Yeah.
have been books that I have looked at before and I've been like, oh, I could just read this on my Kobo or something. Look at the price. I'm like, actually, no, I'll buy the paperback because the paperback is cheaper, which is wild. I don't understand. Like, I would love to deep dive into that, honestly, and just
Literally.
find out the reasons why that's the case.
Because I think the most expensive ebook I've come across before this was Sunrise on the Reaping. And of course I just bought that because I was like,
So you had to.
I had to. But yeah, I was just blown away. I didn't realize ebooks had gotten up to that price. So have to
Yeah.
rejig my, have to like do a reevaluation of things now.
Yeah. That and audiobooks. Audiobooks are shockingly expensive. Like Everend is great because you get 3 audiobooks for what, like $15 a month.
Yeah.
And so that's a good price, but there are some other audiobook services. Or if you buy audiobooks like individually, that I'm like, why is the audiobook like $20?
Literally never buy an audiobook individually unless you're going to like get multiple uses out of it and for some reason you need to listen to it multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, don't do
not
it
worth
because, it's crazy.
It's
I only figured that out
wild.
recently as well
Yeah, yeah.
because I've always just used subscriptions.
Yeah, they're so expensive. Speaking of books that are out of stock though and can't find anywhere, the Six of Crows novella that came out end of June, A Darker Shore, Letters to Ketterdam. It came out, June 30th, and I don't know about you, but I haven't been able to locate it anywhere.
Me either. And I've been trying as well because I really want to, obviously, like I want to read it. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it anywhere. I've been looking in like the YA section. I've been going to really big bookstores. I didn't see it anywhere in Europe either, actually, because I was looking for it
Yeah.
there as well.
And even online, because I couldn't find it in person, so I was like, I'm gonna look online. Looked at like indigo.ca online. It said out of stock. Looked at all of the smaller indie bookstores around. No one has it. So then I checked Amazon as, last resort.
Yeah.
And they barely even have it on Amazon. It's not even sold by Amazon. It's, when they list something, but it's sold by a third party and it's like weird
Yeah.
and suspicious. And it was like $75 because it was listed by a third party source. And it was like odd and probably a scam. But I was so confused.
It's so weird.
And I actually had a friend that brought it to my attention because she asked me and was like, have you seen this book anywhere? I'm like, oh yeah, that did come out. Because I remember it was on all of
Yeah.
our radars and then it came out and then it just sort of passed. And I haven't seen anyone other than maybe like Maddie Faber, I feel like, has read it.
Yeah, true. Actually, that's the other thing. I haven't seen anyone of like, and I know I have mutuals with a lot of like diehard
Six of Crows
Six of Crows
fans.
fans.
Yeah.
No one's reading it.
It's because no one can find it. It's because it's not like how many copies did they print of this book?
This is so odd.
Yeah, another mystery in the book publishing world.
Yeah. Oh my
No idea
gosh.
what's going on there. So if anyone has been able to locate the Six of Crows novella, please let us know. Where did you find it? How much did it
Yeah.
cost? When did you buy it?
Yeah.
Because we're very confused over here. And we would love to get our hands on a copy, but we can't.
Yeah, which is so odd because it's just a little novella.
Yeah. So strange. So that's a weird update. And then I have one more update, I promise you guys, before we get into our main topic. But remember my little story of spying on a film set outside of my window with my binoculars and being creepy and walking through the set?
I
Well,
love that.
I think I have a little bit of an update. So I thought it was Law and Order from my detective work, but with new evidence that has come in, I think it might have been the bell jar because that's actually filming in Toronto right now with Billie Eilish is playing the main character. And I've looked at TikToks now of their costuming and everything, and it looks like pretty much identical to the person in the costume that I saw on set on my street. And I'm like,
That's so cool.
yeah, I'm like, wait, was that Billie Eilish from afar? And I just had no idea because I was just seeing the back of her head. Maybe.
quite possibly though.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like she's usually so recognizable in her, like she's usually got a feature, like it's either her green hair or you know, like
Yeah.
there's something that's very recognizable about her. But
Yeah.
if she was in a costume for the bell jar,
Yeah. Wouldn't have to. And I didn't see exactly her face. It was kind of back to profile that I saw. And
Yeah.
I, at the time, was more looking to see if it was Beach Read or not. So I was like, Phoebe, is that you? And I was like, that doesn't really look like Phoebe.
Yeah.
But it could have been Billy. Could have been Billy, you guys. So from more evidence from that set that I saw, for anyone who has read The Bell Jar, please help me confirm. It looked like they were setting up this kind of old TV repair shop as the set. So if you have read The Bell Jar and if there is an old TV repair kind of a part in the book, even if it's a small part, probably a small part because they weren't there for that long. They probably just took a few shots there. Let me know if that exists in The Bell Jar. And then we can confirm.
And then and
I'll be like, I saw Billy.
So cool. yeah, just like take that claim to fame. That's so cool.
Yeah. Little update
cooler
on
than
that
Law and
situation. Because that was a fun story time. A couple episodes. Yeah. If you have no idea what we're talking about, for context, it was 3 episodes ago, I think. It was in our big catch-up episode when Freya got back from Europe. And there was a little story in there where I was really creepy with binoculars. You'll have to listen to it to know.
As anyone in their right mind would do so, though, if they see a film set getting set up on their street, and, you're so fine.
I'm so fine. And we're still getting down to the bottom of what was going on. So I needed to get all the little bits of evidence that I had to. So here we are. Anyways, shall we get into the topic?
Okay, let's get into it. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So these are books that, we thought were so good, could have been perfect 5-star reads, and then kind of let us down at the end. My first book that I'm going to bring up is There Is No Antimemetics Division by Quantum. So this book was so cool. Like it was scary. Oh my goodness. It was horrifying. But the whole premise of this, it's a sci-fi, but we have these anti-memes that are these unknown entities that mess with your memory, that put ideas into your head. They just mess with your mind in all of these different ways. They mess with what you're seeing, like right in front of you, and you don't even know that you're being messed with, which is the crazy thing. It's literally like a virus that can hack your brain and you don't know it's there.
That's terrifying.
I know, right? So we're basically trying to get to the bottom of it in the story and try and figure out how to can kill these things that you can't even sense are there, but these things have such a big advantage over you because they're literally taking away memories and adding fake memories and ideas and messing. It's crazy. So the first half of this book was it was so cool. It was scary because a lot of the scenes felt like the craziest fever dream you've ever had, but you can't wake up from. And it was funny because there were these moments where I was like, I want to wake up. I'm like, get me out of here. Literally, I don't think I felt that scared and just claustrophobic almost from reading a book, because usually you can just put a book down, right? It's it's not a movie that's blasting images in front of your face. If you don't want to read on, you can close the book, put it down, take a breather. But I couldn't because I was so addicted to it, and I was like, I need to know what's going on right now. But I also wanted to leave. I was like, I want to leave this. I want to wake up from this nightmare, but I can't. I'm forced to continue. But that was good, it sucked, but it was good. It was so strong that book made me feel that way. But it's so hard to talk about this book without giving away too much because it's just so much unknown. I think it just got a little too abstract for me by the end of it. I think things became a little bit too unbelievable, a little bit too what? There's so much going on right now. I almost wish it stayed a little bit more simple in the plot. So we just let the ideas run and got deeper into those. But I think, yeah, just the plot and how many things were involved in it lost me by the end. So,
Yeah. See, that's why I've been scared to buy this one. Because I'm
yeah.
like, as soon as we're dealing with playing with your memory, that's why I was so surprised that I loved Dark Matter so much, because I feel like as soon as you're playing with memory, things can get so stretched out that
Yeah.
if you like, you almost need to read the book all at once and just sit down and get it done. Like, because
Yeah.
I feel like that way you can at least remember what's what, like real, or like what is, I don't know.
Yeah.
But as soon as you like take a break, like God forbid a day or two, and then you come back, like I feel like I would be so out of it. So that's why I've kind of been a little bit scared to pick this one up.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an overly long read, and I did read it in either a day or two. Like, it was very
Okay.
bingeable, but it was confusing. And my brain
Yeah.
was like, what is going on right now? Because it's also a book where every chapter you kind of jump, or it feels like you've jumped. Because again, it's like you're dealing with a different unknown entity that's attacking you in a different way. And so you don't even know what our characters are remembering at the time, and like what they're
Yeah.
thinking and what they know about everything. It's just a huge trip. Like,
Oh my
I would still recommend the book. The ending did bring it down for me, but just the idea of it. I'm like, you
Yeah.
go, Quantum, whatever your name is. Like, you go.
That's crazy. Yeah. So would you recommend? Do you reckon?
I think so. I think so. Like,
Okay.
if you really want to just like sit down and be like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And if you want to be horrified by your brain being taken over, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. It just wasn't a 5-star at the end, but it was still like
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I feel like those are really hard to execute well as well. Again, we talked about this with Dark Matter, and I feel like it's with so many sci-fi books. It's so hard to find the right ending, like how to wrap everything up, especially when you've got
Yeah.
such a almost like an end of the world infinity ending kind of situation. Like this could go on forever. It's like
could.
how do you end that? So yeah. Interesting. I was waiting to hear your thoughts on that one because I saw it at the bookstore and I was so intrigued by it. Interesting.
It's cool though. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what you thought. I don't know if you'd
Yeah.
entirely love it, but like it's cool.
I think there's a 50-50 chance there. Also, can I just say, every time I say interesting now, if anyone here watches Love on the Spectrum, I know you do, in the last season, one of our like participants, he says interesting. And so now every
love
time I say
him.
interesting, I'm like, does that come out? Like I was like, is that me? Am I just channeling?
I
Anyway.
love him so much. So that it would be a great thing. I love that you're
know.
channeling him.
Right. It's probably a good thing. All right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. What's your first one?
So my first one is actually Into the Blue by Emma Brody. So this is a very recent read. And I will say I did really, really enjoy it, whilst I'm starting to realize I feel like I'm maturing, almost like it feels like a really big thing for me because
Ooh.
I'm all these tropes that I usually hate. I feel like I'm starting to realize that I've just been reading them in the wrong contexts. Like when there's, let's say, miscommunication there for no particular reason, it makes me so incredibly mad. And I realized that like I actually haven't read a book with miscommunication as a trope where, look, maybe like yours truly, but like where it actually makes sense. And like I understand why there's some stuff that's been lost in translation here, or why you've assumed this. And I haven't read a book where it actually makes sense. So I will say Into the Blue, not just that trope, but like there were so many tropes that I just feel like worked in this setting. And you understood why the characters were acting this way and why they were doing this. So I really, really appreciated that. However, I was ready to bawl my eyes out, and not because like you bawled your eyes out or because everyone else has like cried and stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll probably cry. But because of the setup during the book, I was so ready for this ending to like just be the most tragic, all-consuming thing. And I was like, if you've read it, you know, but like you just immediately, I think like halfway through the book, you're like, yep, this is how it's going to end. Or at least that was my experience. I was like, great.
Yeah.
So I'm just setting myself up for heartbreak here.
Yep.
And then I definitely got teary towards the end, but then when the thing that I thought was going to happen you didn't experience it as the reader, I was kind of like, oh, I've got all this like anticipated emotion and heartbreak and I don't know what to do with it now. Like it kind of ended quicker than I thought it was going to. And so I feel like that threw me off a little bit.
Over how many days did you read this book? Or like how many sessions?
I would say few, probably about 4 days, maybe 3.
Yeah. I'm wondering if this is one where like I read it not in a day, I think 2 days, but like very few sessions. It's like I feel like it's one of those books that if you just kind of concentrate your experience with it, by the end, you just feel so like, oh, like because you've taken it all in so quick and you're just so deeply entrenched in it. That's what makes you just like break down.
I can so see that because I think clearly I have like this trauma thing that I need to figure out because like I block it and I separate myself and I feel like I had prepped so much to finally be like just a wreck over a book and I haven't been since Jade Legacy.
Wow. That was a long time ago. How many months?
That was in February. It was at the very beginning of the year.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
We need to make you cry.
I know.
But no, that is true. I feel like if you anticipate something so much, like it just doesn't happen. The tears don't come.
And you're also so right. I think because I removed myself and then I was thinking about these characters, which is a great thing, obviously. Like I love these characters so much. I was saying to Jamie, to me, they're like, somebody commented, Noah and I can never remember the girl from The Notebook, but the couple from The Notebook.
Yeah.
Whoever Rachel McAdam plays. It's to me, they're them. It's like that epic kind of love and I adore them. But I think I had just like put the book down, walked away, thought of all of our possible endings and how this might be okay. But then I was like, oh, but no, this is going to happen. And like, this is definitely going to happen. And then, had kind of convinced myself. So I reckon you're right. It would definitely, reading experience would influence it.
Yeah. I think that's also something interesting too, is when you think too much about a book, sometimes it doesn't affect you as much because you're like, oh, well, I've already thought of this. So sometimes I like to go into books not theorizing and not thinking deeply about it because then sometimes it even affects you more when you get kind of taken off guard. It's kind of like
100%.
It's like the Akatar effect, I want to say, how everyone was so, or like Sarah J. Maas effect in general, where everyone's just so like busy theorizing all these things, and when the theories don't come true, people get disappointed at the story. And it's like, well, there was no way to actually hit all of those points in the theory. So like someone was going to be upset.
Someone had to be wrong.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good way of describing it, actually. It's kind of funny. There's like look, I'm just going to say when I finally get to the burning side, when it finally releases in Australia, I'm going in with no expectations. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to dedicate a day and I am going to cry.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
I mean, that sounds like expectations, but okay.
I already know I'm going to cry in that one. I've got a lot of emotional ties to that one. And The Bright Years, it's her writing though. I reckon if I read the blurb and I felt myself tearing up because of just her writing, and like the little snippets. So yeah.
You also need to do The Burning God. Just saying.
Yeah, that's this month. Apparently. It's on my TBR.
Oh my gosh, it is. Okay.
I'm waiting till after my instructor thing is done for that one.
So you're not just
I don't want to be on my lunch break just being like.
Yeah.
No, I reckon that one. See, I feel like I cry more in fantasy books than I do in general fiction books because you've had more time with your characters and you've been with them through everything.
Okay, well, it's gonna be The Burning God, and if that doesn't make you cry, I'm gonna send you the link to the novella that comes attached with that. And if that one doesn't make you cry, then
I should probably seek therapy.
Yeah. Then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Anyway.
It's gonna happen. We'll come back with
Yeah,
updates.
I will. I'll report, guys. Yeah.
Okay, my next one on this list. I mean, I can't talk about disappointing endings without bringing up Metal Slinger, okay? By Rachel Schneider.
We all saw it coming.
Like, we just couldn't get through this episode without this happening. Now, I will say that I wouldn't say this book was perfect all the way through, but I will say this book was fun to read all the way through. I definitely had some gripes with it. Do I need to give a synopsis for this one? I feel like everyone knows what this is about.
I feel like everyone, we've talked about it a few times as well.
Yeah, it's a romantasy. That's all you need to know. But yeah, I was having fun because it was such a fun seafaring adventure. We were sailing around, and I love a good sailing story. I love it. I love a good traveling adventure. And I actually liked the growth that our characters had with each other and their relationship that built throughout the book. And then the ending, that plot twist. It's so hard. I want to say all of these things, but it's also like I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, and it's so hard to talk about this plot twist without spoiling anything. But like it just feels like the rug got pulled out from under you, and it was one of those plot twists that was like, okay, well then why did I read those 400 pages? You know?
Look, I do. Yeah, there was definitely two reactions. Like I think there's that, and then there's like, oh, I can't wait to see how this like backtracks and pans out in the next book, which I still haven't read actually. I need to get to that. Maybe I should start that one.
I still need you to read it to report back to me.
Book. I know, but then the Fairy Loot book came in my mail and I was like, oh, but it's so pretty.
That's true. We like pretty things.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit of both, to be honest, but it was more like, okay, what was the point? And then I think because at the end of Metal Slinger, there was a little excerpt of, I think, like the first chapter of the next book or something. So then I read that, and then it said like 4 years later or something, like there was a time jump. And I was like, And that kind of made me more mad because I'm like, okay, well, why did we skip? Why do we not stay in the moment? And so that made me even more mad. But then, for a long time, I think everyone knows this, I was very torn on like, okay, maybe I'll still read the second book to see the vision through. And then after a couple months, I was like, you know what? No, I can't do it. I'm too mad. And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. I'll let Freya read it.
Yeah.
And you let me know how it is.
You definitely are a driving force for me because I feel like I really cared about that ending when it happened, but it was also so long ago that now I'm like, and I also just haven't seen very many things about the next one, so we'll see.
Yeah. I'm curious. Not enough to read it, but curious enough to want you to read it to tell me.
Fair enough. Yeah. Like, why else would you have a podcast pod?
I know. That's why we do this, you guys.
Okay. My next one is, it comes as a whole, and this is the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, which, by the way, did you see the casting for the Rose Hill series?
I'm going to be honest, I don't pay attention because I don't know what the series is.
No, you read the Rose Hill one.
Wait.
The pretty covers with the like small town and it's
like the wild ones.
Yeah, the wild ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know what these are.
I forgot to say that, but casting came out, and the only reason I'm excited about this casting is because I think it's Wes.
Wes.
I think
his name is Wes.
Yeah, I think so. Wes. Yeah. He is being played. I think it's him. There's too many of them. They all look very similar. He's being played by the guy who starred in the Blank Space Taylor Swift video.
I don't know who that is.
It's such a niche. But if you're in that niche, you will understand this, and it's a very fun thing.
All the Swifties are going to hate me right now, but what was the Blank Space video? What was the theme?
At a mansion, and then she's like in this really like gorgeous dress, and he's like a guy, and then she's like realizes he's done something bad, and so she starts like smashing the car and like having a meltdown in this mansion.
Okay, I never watched it.
There's just one scene where he looks over his shoulder, and then that's his casting photo, pretty much just him now. So he's
Oh,
aged a
great.
bit and he looks great for the role. Anyway, so that was a very funny announcement. Probably the first casting announcement that's actually received really good feedback recently. But anyway, but on the other side of things, the Chestnut Spring series, so connected to that one. But my thing is, and look, I'm like, I don't know how, it's hard to say this without a spoiler, but also it's like a romance book, so you kind of expect it, but it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say there's a happily ever after that happens at the end of every single book. And by the end, I was just like, come on. Like, these are all different characters. They all have very strong personalities. They don't all end their little happily ever after. Okay, can I just
But
say it?
how else would a romance book end though? I'm just
They
curious.
just don't have to. They just don't. They just like, there just doesn't have to be a ring is my thing.
Oh, okay. It's like the
See,
epilogue where it's
yeah.
like, let's get married and
Yeah,
have babies. And
it's like,
okay. I got you.
It's like
I
the
got
epilogue
you.
or it's like the last chapter.
Okay.
And it's always the same. It's like a copy paste. And I'm like, it didn't, like, there was just so many other happily ever afters that we could have made for you guys. Or this just didn't need to be here because we're going to see you in the other books anyway. Like, it's an
Right.
interconnected series. We're about to see you again. Yeah, I have like this every time I would get to the end, I'd be like, again, really?
That's just so funny the way you put it. Because I'm like, wait, how would a romance book not end with like a happily ever
I was
after?
trying to say,
But
like,
I get you now. Like the same happily ever after. I got you.
the copy paste. And I'm trying to think now, does it happen in the Rose Hill? I don't know. They're all kind of a bit of a blur in my mind. They're fun in the moment.
I don't remember them too deeply. Like I usually remember plots of like all the books I've read, but those ones in particular just leave my mind because they're just
They really are just like, you read them, you have fun.
Yeah.
You move on.
Yeah. Okay.
So random. But yeah.
Okay. We don't love a happily ever after all the time.
We do. We just don't love the same one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Speaking of happily ever afters, this book made me think of You by Libby Page. I think was a pretty strong book throughout, but ended kind of a little bit too simply for me, I think. So this is the one, the premise is our protagonist's husband passed away like a couple months ago, and then these little gifts start showing up once a month for her, where each gift is a book and then a letter from him that he wrote before he died. So the whole like idea of it is he prepared these for her to help her get through her first year of life without him. And so I thought that, I know, right? I thought this was going to be super emotional, very like P.S. I love you kind of vibe. And it was for the most part. I think the beginning of this book was very, very good. But again, the second half let me down. I think it just became a little bit too rinse and repeat, which like I expected every month to kind of teach her a new lesson, you know, like get through a different stage of the grief. And it was going on that path. But then I think because we were doing like all 12 months, a lot of the months started feeling same, different font. And you could argue that it was just, you know, it makes sense because it's small steps to, you know, get over something huge like this. But I think they were just a little bit too similar. I wanted each month to add a little bit more to her journey. But yeah, it was just a little too rinse and repeat. And then by the end, it almost felt like a quick montage. It was like the first bits were developed so well. And then at the end, it was just like, okay. And then like October, November, December happened. And then the end kind of a thing. And it also, I think, turned a little bit too romancy for my liking. Like I was reading it as more contemporary fiction. And then it became kind of like happily ever after romance book kind of a thing. So I was kind of let down by that because I thought this was a book that would make me sob just from the premise of it, you know? And it just didn't, because it was just too happy, which I don't know what that says about me, that I'm like, this book was too happy, so I didn't like it.
We've got opposite problems here.
Yeah. You're like, I'm scared that it's going to be sad. And I'm like, give it to me.
That's really interesting though. I feel like that's a really cute premise though. So that's kind of...
Maybe you should
Maybe
read
I'd
it.
like it. I don't know.
Yeah. There we go. That's the thing I love though. Like I think what was it? In my latest wrap-up video when I was talking about The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes and talking about the things I didn't like about it, I had so many comments on that video being like, "Oh, actually from the way you talk about The Naturals and the things you don't like, it sounds like a book that I would love." And so
Yeah.
they're like, "I'm going to pick it up now." And I'm like, "I love that. I love being able
That's
to
so
like
great.
positively influence someone to read a book by saying what you didn't like about it."
That's
I
so
think that's
cool
beautiful.
though. Like,
Yeah.
that's such a cool thing. Because I feel like, yeah, I like there are definitely things like, yeah, I'll say like I hate this, like literally love triangles. Like you'll be like, I didn't like it because of this. And some people are diehard
They'd be like, "I
love
love
triangle
that."
fans.
Yeah.
And they're like, great, I'll pick it up. It's like, okay, amazing.
I love when that happens.
so
I
cute.
love when a bad review turns into a positive thing.
Yeah, literally makes you feel so much better.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like I've talked about this a lot, so, and obviously we all know what Fourth Wing's about, but for me, it's just like I loved the atmosphere, and I'm not at all going to hint towards what the ending is, because if you haven't read it, you'll have fun. But it just like, I don't know, this one's kind of an almost, there was so much I was loving about this book until almost the second half, maybe the last quarter, when things, almost the action picked up, I want to say, and like characters started to develop a little bit more, and we started to get different dynamics between different people and blah, blah, blah. And I just love the world, and I love the academy, and I love the dragons, and I just don't love the characters. And then the direction that it was sent in at the end of the book, I don't know. I think actually I would have a different opinion reading it now. And I do want to do an audiobook reread of it. I think I'd have a very different opinion. But I remember in the moment being like, oh, that's going to like knock down my rating a little bit. And then obviously I went on to Iron Flame and I was like, oh, I don't love this. It was just an interesting, I think my main thing is like, as I've said so many times, I just don't love the characters. And I think that really hinders my experience overall.
Yeah.
So
That's so funny because I loved the last bit of this book, like the first Fourth Wing book.
I think
the ending, I was like, yeah, I love this.
yeah. I think I almost was expecting a bit of a, I don't want to say an ACOTAR, but like a bit of a softer or like not quite as dramatic. And it took like this full on, like the series, I think you can safely say takes a very like high fantasy turn.
Yeah.
And I just, as I said, I'm much more in that era now, so I probably would enjoy it more. But I think in that moment, I was just ready for such, like, I was like, this is such a fun dragon romantasy. And it was in the time when I hadn't read like heaps of stuff like that before. Because I feel like when it came out at the perfect time. And that's why it took off as it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of an interesting one for me.
Yeah.
I'm probably probably on the minority there, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Fourth Wing series as a whole is like, don't go into any one of those books thinking you're going to have a nice, pleasant ending that you can just sit on. Like, all of those endings will make you go crazy a little bit, but in a fun way.
Yep.
For me, at least. Not for Freya, but for me.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is Tropesick by Lauren Oakey. So this was the one mentioned earlier in this episode that it's a recent romance that I read. And honestly, this is another one that wasn't perfect going all the way through. So the premise is we have two writers who kind of have this past with one another, but they haven't spoken to each other in 8 years. And they get hired to ghost write a romance book together. And as they continue to write this romance book, they start noticing all of the tropes that are in the romance book that they're writing are actually happening in their real lives together. So then it's kind of this whimsical, almost magical realism vibe going on. And I was having fun reading this one. It wasn't the perfect book for me by any means, but I was surprised by how much I was enjoying this, especially as, you know, I haven't really been enjoying contemp romance very much lately. So I was like, okay, great. This is great. Until we get to the plot twist, you guys, we get to the plot twist. The plot twist, without saying too much, again, of course, changed the entire genre of this book.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Now I want to read it just to know.
Yeah. Changed the entire genre. And it's Honestly, it's something that I could stand behind, but it was something that was so out of the like out of left field that
Yeah.
like there were tiny, 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 tiny little breadcrumbs that were left along the way to point towards this. But, and I said this in my reading vlog, which I don't know if it's out yet by the time this episode's out, but I filmed a reading vlog. And I said in there that at the end of this book, the author had to bring those breadcrumbs up again at the end of the book to be like, yeah, remember when this happened? Like kind of try to do it in a sneaky way of making the characters think back of like, oh yeah, how did we not catch that? How did we not catch that?
Yeah.
But it just seemed a little bit too on the nose for me, being like, okay, yeah, you guys remember when all these little things happened? I'm reminding you again, so the plot twist makes sense. But I'm like, a good plot twist and good breadcrumbs wouldn't require that. Like if it built up enough to make sense, you wouldn't have to reiterate at the end. But you had to because it didn't make enough sense.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Okay. Is it one that you'll either love or hate? Or do you reckon it's just like not great executed?
I think
overall,
some people might love it. I don't know.
Okay.
Some people might love it.
I feel like it's not a metal slinger situation. Like where some people actually did love it.
It's not as, it didn't infuriate me as much as Metal Slinger did. It's not as dramatic. Like it doesn't change the entire progression of the story. It just changes how it happens.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's so hard to talk about these without spoiling.
My last one for this video. Okay, now it's a hear me out, and I love this book. I love it to bits, okay? But it's Project Hail Mary. And
I
actually loved
We're not friends anymore.
I
quit.
I loved the ending when I read it. But then we saw the movie, right? And tiniest tweaks to the ending. And I was like, wait, I kind of like this more.
I see where you're going.
Now, so like on reflection, I'm like, oh, there was just like, I can't explain my reasoning very well, but there was one or two things that I was like, it makes me happier after I finished the book. I was like, and okay, so basically we're going that Freya just craves a happy ending that's a bit different. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I see it. I see your vision. I see what you're putting out there. I think I appreciate both endings for different reasons. Like the movie version definitely, gave a better, more satisfying ending that made you feel happier and better and just like an actual, like more of a resolution, which I think makes sense for a movie format and probably goes along the same lines of like the Odyssey of why they changed certain things to make you kind of feel better about the story at the end of it. But I honestly liked how the book was like a little unknown. Like it felt realistic to a space story, you know?
Yeah.
It
did feel realistic.
Yeah, with the vastness of it.
I think that's
and
why
like,
it annoyed me.
Yeah. It was realistic.
I was like, I feel like, I just was like, it was like, there was just like one tiny missing piece. It's like, I needed that one little piece to the puzzle and I would just be like, oh, I feel so good after finishing that. And then I was like, it was like an itch. I was like, huh.
Yeah, but
I think a lot
I liked it because it was
the book ending.
Yeah, I think it felt more like genuine to the characters and like what they would technically experience. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
The movie gives
this was definitely a sugar-coated.
Yeah, it's like okay, like la la la, like look at the montage of everything that happens now, and then in the book it was.
What can I say?
Yeah. So fair. Love that for you.
And Jamie loves a realistic, sometimes breaks your heart in half kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I love both. And that's why I'm like, I did love the movie ending because it did give me all of that, like, oh, yeah, okay. Everything's great. But I did like the book because it was like, well, so hard not to spoil, but
I know. It's literally like you can't say anything.
We're literally trying to talk about the endings of books without talking about the endings of books. That's this entire episode.
So it's being like, no, not to spoil anything, but
this is why I didn't like it, and I can't tell you why. Yeah. Well, this has been interesting.
Yeah. I feel like we just keep learning more about our reading personalities as we go.
Yeah. And getting recs from things that like maybe we didn't like from each other's reads, but it's like maybe you would like it because it's a happily ever after, so you would like it.
Exactly. The right happily ever after, apparently.
The right one, not the copy paste one.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comments if there are any books out there that you were so loving. So loving? Oh, we're losing the words. Any books that you loved along the way, but the ending just kind of brought it down for you, whether it was half a star, a full star, or more than that. Let us know. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Because we know it can be.
We know it can be.
Yeah.
It can be more than 1 star. Let us know if it was more than a 3-star drop. Ooh.
Oh,
That'd be wild. That'd be wild. Okay, yeah. That being said, though, if you guys are still here, listening to the end, thanks for listening, wherever you are in the world or whatever time zone you're in.
Until next time, stay comfy and keep reading.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on socials for more bookish content.
Bye. See you next week.